The air crackled with anticipation. The dwellings of monsters, the inscription read. A dungeon. What dungeon? The chilling announcement echoed. The dungeon has been opened. Hunters will likely come soon. The words hung heavy, laden with a foreboding sense of impending action. My name is Sung Jin-Woo, and I am a hunter. Let's do our best today, I muttered, a familiar mantra before each perilous descent. But the truth was, I was far from exceptional. I'm the hunter who tackles only the weakest dungeons, the one who barely scrapes by. The whispers followed me, the world's weakest hunter. Another injury, another setback. The familiar sting of pain was a constant reminder of my limitations. But the relentless pressure of my mother's medical bills drove me forward. There was no stopping. However, destiny had a cruel twist in store. I discovered a truth hidden in plain sight. An ear-ranked dungeon, deceptively simple, yet concealing a harrowing challenge, the treacherous double nest. It was a trial by fire, a crucible of unimaginable pressure and peril. I faced impossible odds, my resolve tested to its absolute limits. It was a near-death experience, leaving me grappling with the fragility of life and the sheer weight of my responsibilities. Waking up in the sterile confines of a hospital bed, I felt a profound shift. A new reality dawned. My body, still bearing the scars of my ordeal, was subjected to a rigorous, almost sadistic regimen. Daily quests were thrust upon me, a relentless cycle of physical torment. Incomplete push-ups, failed sprints, a demoralizing count of sit-ups and squats, each failure echoing my inadequacy. The 10-kilometer run loomed as a constant reminder of the punishment for not measuring up, the warning of severe consequences hanging over my head like a guillotine. Then, amidst the physical agony, a flicker of hope. A new skill quest window, visible only to me. A personalized path to growth, a hidden ladder towards ascension. The message was clear. Meticulously follow the daily training regimen, hunt monsters, and my level will rise. It was a chance to transcend my weaknesses, to escape the shadow of weakest. This was no longer merely about surviving. It was about evolving, about rewriting my narrative. The path was fraught with danger and uncertainty. The training was grueling, pushing me beyond what I thought humanly possible. Yet, with each rep, each run, each completed task, a burgeoning strength began to take hold. A strength not just of the body but of the spirit. The whispers, once a source of shame, now fueled my resolve. This was my chance. The chance to rise above, to defy expectations, to become higher. This is a hunter's tale unlike any other. A story of resilience, grit, and the extraordinary potential that lies dormant, waiting to be awakened. My name is Sung Jin-Woo. Laughs. Ear-rank hunter. The Hunter's Guild. Another laugh, slightly bitter this time. The lowest rank, they say. The weakest hunter. I've never, well, a chuckle laced with self-deprecating humor, never imagined I'd be stuck in this position. God damn it, I mutter under my breath, the familiar frustration a dull ache in my chest. They call me a rank hunter sometimes, a snide little nickname that feels like a punch to the gut. If you ignore the slightly unusual aspects of my physical capabilities, like my surprisingly rapid healing and, let's just say, enhanced strength, it's frankly embarrassing to even call myself a hunter. I'm constantly injured. Seriously, I've had more near-death experiences than I care to count. This is a job where your life is constantly on the line, a precarious balancing act between survival and despair. I'm not doing this because I enjoy it. I work construction in Seoul when I'm not risking my life in dungeons. The pitiful pay from the Hunters Guild barely covers my sick mother's medical bills. For a normal person, lacking any extraordinary talents, I had no other option. This is my reality, a stark and unforgiving one. Good luck on your raid today, Tilda says, her voice a comforting presence in the bleakness of my situation. Oh, thanks, Tilda, I reply, appreciating the gesture. The unexpected sight of Tilda, Kim, stops me cold. Hey, Tilda Kim, I say, surprise coloring my voice. It's been a while. Her presence is a shock. She quit hunting long ago. Wait, what are you doing here? Didn't you leave because you didn't want to be a hunter anymore? I question, genuine confusion lacing my tone. A knowing smile plays on her lips. Well, My wife's pregnant with our second son. Laughs. There's nothing like a high-stakes raid to earn a quick fortune. It's not easy making ends meet, you know? Her words resonate with me, a painful echo of my own struggles. I'm worried. It's been so long. I might have lost my edge. My skills were already rusty, and they've only gotten worse since I took a break, she confesses, her vulnerability a surprising contrast to the tough exterior expected of hunters. She introduces me to her son, a tender moment amidst the looming shadow of the dungeon. Their heartwarming exchange fades as our attention shifts to another hunter, Mr. Kim, whose presence commands a certain unspoken respect. That man, is he a powerful hunter? I ask, curiosity piqued by the hushed reverence surrounding him. Everyone's happy to see him, Tilda replies, a hint of awe in her voice. You wouldn't know, since he joined right after you quit. Another hunter chimes in, a touch of amusement in his tone. His nickname? The world's weakest. The irony hangs heavy in the air, a cruel joke played by fate. The world's weakest? A hunter repeats incredulously. Not the strongest, bro. That's what we call S-rank hunters. Some are considered the weakest. I mean, he's weak enough to get hurt in an E-rank dungeon. Is he actually the weakest? The whispers confirm my unfortunate reputation. Yeah, he's probably the weakest of us all. So that means our dungeon will be weak as well. Since he's here, they conclude. Ah, I see, I mutter, a mix of resignation and defiance welling up inside me. Hey, he might hear us, someone warns, silencing the hushed conversation. Let's end it for now, someone else suggests. Suddenly, a gruff voice cuts through the air. I've been hearing you old geezers. Aha. Hi. May I have a cup of coffee? It's me. The awkward silence is broken by a slightly apologetic response. I'm sorry. All the coffee ran out just now. A surprising wave of camaraderie washes over the group, a shared understanding of the pressures they all face. Yeah, I agree. Me too, Tilda. Count me in. They concur. Their support a surprising balm to my wounded pride. Take care of us, Mr. Sung Jin-Woo, they say, a mixture of deference and unexpected faith in my abilities. All right then, let's enter the dungeon, I declare, determination stealing my voice, the weight of their expectations suddenly feeling less burdensome. Let's go, Mr. Sung, they urge, adding a kindly caution. Try not to get injured. Okay, I respond, a grin tugging at the corners of my lips, masking the nervous flutter in my stomach. Okay. I'm going to try my best today. The dungeon looms, a challenge, a test, but also, perhaps, a chance for redemption. The whispers of weakest might soon be silenced. The journey begins. All clear. Let's go, the team leader announced, breaking the tense silence. Ah, okay, cool, I replied, trying to sound more confident than I felt. What are you thinking about? One of my teammates asked, noticing my pensive expression. It's just, Hunter Sung Jin-Woo, I began, my voice laced with a hint of concern. I'm a little bothered that we couldn't offer him any coffee. The others murmured in agreement. Sung Jin-Woo, the weakest hunter in the E-rank category, was a fixture of the Hunters Guild. What rank is this dungeon? Someone asked, breaking the thread of our conversation. They said it's about D rank, another replied. I've never seen Hunter Sung Jin-Woo uninjured in all my time at the Hunters Guild, I commented, my tone filled with a mixture of concern and a grudging respect. A D-rank dungeon, well, I don't think anything too serious will happen. Let's go, someone urged, breaking the spell of uneasy anticipation. As we ventured deeper into the dungeon, a teammate expressed concern. Jin-Woo, why are you so adamant about working as a hunter? Fighting like this will only bring even more risks, he said, his voice edged with worry. Sorry, I'm not saying this to apologize, I replied, my voice low. I'm just worried about you. My words were tinged with the understanding that came from sharing similar risks. My financial struggles and his concern for his family were two sides of the same coin. The raid progressed, the tension slowly building, punctuated by moments of uneasy relief. At least this raid is almost over, someone remarked, the weight of their words palpable. A sigh of relief swept the team as the final enemy fell. Looks like it's done, someone announced, a collective sense of accomplishment permeating the air. Mr. Beck, you're not dead yet, one of the team members joked, breaking the tension with humor. Ha ha, this is a piece of cake, Jin-Woo, Beck replied, his voice thick with exhaustion but tinged with the satisfaction of survival. Beck turned to me, a thoughtful expression on his face. Do you have a reason for not quitting being a hunter? Fighting like this will only bring even more risks. I hesitated, unsure whether to reveal the truth. I'm just a hunter for fun, I replied evasively. If I don't do this, I might actually die from boredom, I added, a hint of self-deprecating humor in my voice. Telling them my real reasons, the pressing need to provide for my family, would only make me feel more embarrassed. Suddenly, the laughter is cut short by the discovery of the monster's magical core. Looks like having /fun. /2 times will send you raiding in the afterlife. A teammate quipped, breaking the tension with dark humor. PFFFF, I let out a small laugh, despite myself. Don't laugh, I said, touching a fresh wound. Yeah, this is what you get after dealing with a monster, another teammate said, showing off his share of the magical core. The magical core. A magical core from even a C-rank monster is worth thousands, another exclaimed, his voice filled with excitement. However, my reward for risking my life was meager. Considering I put my life on the line to end this, it's too small. Earning money like this is I trailed off, my frustration bubbling to the surface. The low pay was a constant source of stress, threatening to overwhelm me. A sudden commotion interrupted my thoughts. Hey everyone, there's an anomaly in the transfer gate. The double layer looks like it's actually real, someone shouted, their voice tinged with a mix of excitement and apprehension. The discovery of an open gate meant a new, unforeseen challenge. Everyone listen to me for a moment, I announced, my voice firm despite my inner turmoil. The gate doesn't close if the boss monster is still alive. Since the gate is still open, it seems the boss is still inside there. Usually, we would need to contact our guild and await their orders. But if the other hunters get to it first, our share of the spoils would dwindle. So, I propose we all go and deal with the boss. Since it could be dangerous, why don't we take a vote? 17 of us, and no complaining after the vote results. A tense silence followed my words. We vote to fight, someone declared, breaking the silence. I vote to go, another voice added, echoing the sentiment. I say no, let's fight, someone else countered, their reluctance palpable. Sorry, but I don't want to go, another hunter added, his fear evident. It's 8-8 so far, huh? Someone observed, the tension palpable. How about Mr. Sung? Everything depends on Sung's vote. All eyes turned to me. The weight of their expectations pressed down on me. I don't have enough money soon. I need to send my little sister to college, and my sick mother needs care for my family. I'm going, just one more time, I declared, my voice firm despite the tremor in my hands. Let's do this, I added, the weight of my family's needs and my own determination fueling my resolve. The fight for survival, for a better future, was far from over. Aren't we going too far in? One of my teammates nervously asked, his voice barely a whisper against the echoing silence of the dungeon. How long did we walk? Another queried, glancing at his watch. About 40 minutes, I replied, checking my own. The tension in the air was thick, palpable. The gate closes an hour after we defeat the boss, I reminded them, so we have about 20 minutes left. Hey, I hesitated, unsure how to broach the next topic. Sorry about forcibly dragging you all here after the vote, I continued, trying to alleviate the mounting anxiety. I'm fine, so you don't need to worry about me, I added, trying to sound reassuring. But the forced cheerfulness didn't quite mask the tremor in my voice. Are you really okay? Someone pressed, their concern evident. To be honest, I'm definitely not okay, I admitted, the truth finally spilling out. Are you insane? Another teammate exclaimed, his voice rising in disbelief. Just now, if you'd been stabbed even a little higher, you would have had a hole in your heart, he pointed out, vividly describing the near miss. And that's not even considering your arms and legs. Even though I barely managed to heal them, he added, his concern now laced with awe at my resilience. What even made you say yes, huh? Did you hurt your head too? Huh, true. I'm only alive because Miss Juhi is a B-rank healer, I confessed, a wave of self-deprecating humor washing over me. I'm in her debt yet again. Sorry. Are you sorry? Someone pressed, a smirk playing on their lips. Yes. If you're that sorry, How about treating us to some food? They suggested, their tone light despite the gravity of the situation. Ah, I replied, a chuckle escaping my lips. The offer, though unexpected, felt like a lifeline in the oppressive atmosphere. We continued deeper into the dungeon, the air growing colder and heavier with each step. What, you don't like eating with me? I asked, a hint of nervousness coloring my voice. No, of course not, they quickly replied. It's here, the boss room. The sight that greeted us was unsettling. I've never seen a room with this type of door before, one of the team commented, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and unease. It's strange, I agreed, running a hand over the cold, smooth surface. Isn't this place dangerous? Another member whispered, his apprehension growing. Yeah. Are you going to return empty-handed after coming all this way? We could be the first ones to enter this dungeon, I countered, trying to instill a sense of purpose amidst the growing fear. Those who want to leave can go. I'm going in there alone if I must, I declared, my voice firm despite the trepidation that gnawed at me. Well, Mr. Songkyle's skill is amazing. He's also extremely offensively styled. Out of the top C-rank hunters, someone pointed out, trying to bolster our spirits. That man, if he wasn't about to leave the profession, could have been in any big guild. Since we came here because we trusted Mr. Song, we might as well follow him to the end, another hunter reasoned, his words carrying a weight of shared responsibility. The door opened more easily than expected. Let's go in, I urged, my voice still laced with a tremor of anxiety. Oh, Tilda, the lights are on, someone exclaimed, their voice filled with wonder. Nice, Tilda. I've never seen a dungeon like this, I added, taking in the strange ambience. All right, let's scatter and scout the area, I suggested, my voice regaining its firmness. It seems like no one's been in here for a long time, one hunter observed, his statement echoing the unsettling stillness of the place. Our exploration yielded a collection of peculiar statues. These statues, they feel weird, another hunter remarked, a shiver running through his voice. They're all holding something different. Some of them are even holding instruments, another chimed in, their words adding to the mounting sense of unease. There's quite a lot of them that feel scary. Since there are so many, a hunter trailed off, his words hinting at an unspoken dread. Well, doesn't it feel like someone is staring at you? Someone whispered, their voice edged with growing fear. Stop saying such negative things, another retorted, trying to maintain a facade of bravery. Wow, look at that. It's huge. That's not the boss, right? A startled voice cut through the eerie silence. Don't think so. It's only a statue, after all, another responded, trying to alleviate the mounting anxiety. This is the only one that's huge. There's nothing that resembles a monster here, I observed, my eyes scanning the room. Right. Can't see even a single one. The others agreed, their confusion mirroring my own. Suddenly, a change. Tap HM. What is this? Your magic seal, Mr. Song? Someone exclaimed, pointing towards a strange symbol on a nearby wall. Tilda, something's written here. I think you need to come and see this, I urged, my voice hinting at a growing apprehension. This is it, in runic text. First, worship the Lord. Second, praise the Lord. Third, prove your faith. The eyeball just moved. It was looking at us, Tilda announced, her voice barely a whisper. Aha. Right, you must be mistaken, I responded, my voice slightly strained. Wait, what is this feeling? It got so quiet that the air seems chilly, another hunter said, his words laden with a rising unease. A chilling inscription appeared on the wall. Those who do not follow these commandments will never return alive. What? A collective gasp of horror rippled through the team. The door just closed. What do we do now? Someone panicked. Damn it, I can't stand this anymore. You guys are all spouting nonsense. It was a mistake to even come here. I'm leaving. The boss's treasures, whatever. You guys can take it. Good luck. One hunter declared, making a desperate attempt to escape. Stop. Don't put your hands on the handle. I shouted, my voice strained with a sudden, chilling realization. The statues began to move. That thing moves, the hell. We have to fight those things, someone screamed in terror. Wait there, the eyeball, if that was really true. Another whispered, his words swallowed by the growing chaos. A final, terrified sound cut short. The fight for survival had truly begun. The dust still swirled in the weak light filtering through the dungeon's cracks, a silent testament to the terrifying speed and power we'd just witnessed. My heart hammered a frantic rhythm against my ribs, a stark counterpoint to the unsettling quiet that had fallen. That thing moved like something from a nightmare. One of my companions breathed, his voice barely a whisper. The unspoken fear hung heavy in the air. The urgency in his voice was mirrored in the others. We need to get out of here," someone else stammered, the words laced with a palpable sense of dread. The reality of our predicament was sinking in, cold and heavy. We were trapped, and the exit seemed further away than ever. A sharp intake of breath broke the silence. What was the rank of the one who's no longer with us? The question hung in the air, unspoken accusations of failure flitting between us. "D rank," someone finally managed, their voice tight with a mixture of grief and fear. Even for a D rank, he was exceptionally strong. Stronger than any E rank I've ever encountered, another added. The words a chilling reminder of our own vulnerability. He'd been felled in a single blow, a stark demonstration of the overwhelming power we faced. A sudden gasp shattered the tense silence. Wait a second. This dungeon, it's barely a D rank, isn't it? I've never encountered anything remotely this powerful in a dungeon of this supposed level. The speed, the strength, it's impossible. The implications were staggering. Our preconceived notions of this dungeon, of this place, were utterly wrong. Panic started to claw at the edges of our fear. If all the statues, if they can all move with that kind of speed and force. The unfinished thought hung in the air, a specter of unimaginable horror. A grim silence fell upon the group, each of us grappling with the terrifying implications of what that might mean. "Don't tell me, even that one." The words trailed off, but the meaning was clear. The potential threat had just multiplied exponentially. This wasn't my first near-death experience. I remembered my initiation into the world of dungeon raiding, a terrifying baptism of fire. Separated from my party during my first expedition, I was lost and alone, completely unprepared for what I faced. The attack of an E-rank monster left me hospitalized for weeks, barely surviving a brutal assault. Another time, starvation had nearly claimed me after being trapped in a low-level dungeon, a horrifying ordeal that had tested my will to survive. Those experiences were etched into my very being, shaping my perspective on this dangerous profession. I looked at the other members of my group, assessing their faces. The weight of these near misses had sunk its claws into each of them. Others, more experienced or fortunate, invested heavily in better equipment, using their hard-earned magical resources to bolster their defenses. That was a path I couldn't afford. My limited funds meant that even a modestly better sword would likely be destroyed just as quickly. And even with a skilled healer in the group, the cumulative effect of these injuries was taking its toll. A young E-rank adventurer, still barely a man, lay injured once more, this time after a raid in what was supposed to be a simple E-rank dungeon. I feel for his healers, I thought. The constant burden of keeping him alive must be exhausting. A relentless cycle of patching up wounds and facing the risk of failure. The whispers followed him, always there, ever present. The world's weakest hunter. The cruel irony was palpable. Despite his ambition, his skills seemed to fall woefully short of his desire. This had been my reality. The relentless near misses, the shattered weapons, the ever-present exhaustion. I'd pushed through, ignoring the whispers, the doubts, and the ever-present threat of permanent injury or worse. But this dungeon, this was different. The sheer scale of the danger felt qualitatively different than anything I had ever experienced. Then, the earth shuddered. A deafening roar filled the cavern, echoing with primal power that seemed to vibrate the very bones in my body. A desperate cry cut through the sudden noise. Everyone down. The attack was swift, brutal, a terrifying demonstration of unimaginable force. We were tossed around like ragdolls, and when the terrifying cacophony subsided, we were left trembling, bruised, and gasping for breath. I woke slowly, my body throbbing with pain. The silence was broken only by the labored breaths and moans of my surviving comrades. A concerned voice broke through the haze. "Are you all right?" I'm fine," I managed, despite the sharp pain shooting through my side. But it wasn't just a few. My voice trailed off, the implications too heavy to bear. The near miss had been terrifyingly close. I had barely avoided sharing the fate of others. If someone hadn't shouted, I shuddered, still recovering from the adrenaline rush. We all could have. I couldn't finish the thought. "He missed you," another voice said urgently, the fear still evident. "Don't stand up. Stay still. If we move, it will attack again." The weight of their words settled upon me. We were trapped, our very survival hinging on our complete stillness. My gaze landed on Kyle, the young B-rank healer, his face pale and drawn, his body trembling. Despite his skill, his fear was a palpable thing, holding him back, hindering his ability to perform effectively in anything beyond the most basic raids. Only those who moved were, We're affected, I said. My voice hushed, my eyes scanning the silent forms of my fallen comrades. A chilling realization dawned. The pattern was unmistakable. Wait, Kyle? You shouted a warning. Did you know what was going to happen? I asked, the question hanging in the air between us. He shook his head slowly, his voice barely audible. No, it felt instinctively dangerous. A primal sense of dread. The unspoken implications settled upon me, cold and heavy. What rank do you think this is? I asked him, needing to understand the nature of the threat we faced. He, with his limited experience, had only encountered B-rank dungeons, and even those paled in comparison to the terrifying power we had faced. This is far beyond anything I've ever seen, he whispered. My eyes fell on the ancient inscription on the dungeon wall, Cathanon Temple's commandments. Beneath it, 3 chilling edicts. First, worship the Lord. Second, praise the Lord. Third, prove your faith. Those who do not obey will never return. This wasn't just a dungeon. It was a trial, a test of faith, and we were the unwilling participants. The scale of the challenge, the horrifying nature of the threat, was vast, almost unimaginable. Even eliminating all visible threats would take an incredibly long time, a time we might not have. The realization struck me with a force that surpassed even the physical blows we'd sustained. The situation was more precarious than it ever seemed. The flickering torchlight cast long, dancing shadows across the damp stone walls of the tunnel, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and something else, something ancient. This tunnel, it leads to the other side. A voice whispered, barely audible above the echoing drip of water. It had been 10 years since the gate appeared, 2 hours since we'd entered this seemingly endless passage. 10 years. 10 years since the world changed irrevocably. Bizarre events, inexplicable phenomena, had become commonplace. The emergence of hunters was one such anomaly. Their abilities, fixed at the moment of their awakening, remained unchanged, locked in time. I, too, had become a hunter, though my abilities were severely limited. E-rank, stronger than most ordinary humans, yes, but a vast chasm separated me from the higher ranks. Those who wielded the power to traverse the gate, those who dedicated their lives to confronting the monsters that emerged from it, they were the hunters, the elite. Sometimes, beyond the gate, something far more sinister awaited. A lurking despair, an unfathomable horror that could materialize out of thin air. A being of pure chaos and unpredictable power. We'd encountered such a being, and the results were terrifying. Are you all right? A voice broke through the turmoil. I looked down at my bleeding arm, the blood a dark stain against the rough stone. The bleeding, it won't stop. Panic edged into the growing unease. There's nothing we can do now, another voice said, a note of defeat in his tone. Is there? I only brought 3 healers. I thought this would be a quick in-and-out raid. My mind raced, trying to process the unfolding disaster. One healer was gone, completely eradicated. Another was in shock, catatonic, his eyes wide with terror. Save me! Save me! Screamed the third, a B-rank healer, clearly overwhelmed by the sheer terror of this encounter. I want to live. His desperate pleas echoed through the claustrophobic tunnel. Even a B-rank healer, I realized, could be utterly unprepared for something like this. His experience paled in comparison to the raw, unfiltered horror that we faced. The sheer shock was preventing him from even attempting to heal effectively. For now, it's best to remain still, I commanded, my voice firm despite the growing anxiety. Against such power, any movement invited annihilation. Once the immediate threat subsides, we'll strategize, find a way to escape. It won't be easy, but it's our only chance. A frustrated sigh broke the tense silence. Why do we have to endure this? This is a D-rank dungeon. The disbelief in his voice was mirrored in my own thoughts. It's only D-rank, just like Mr. Sunkeo said. Another chimed in, reminding us of the blatant mismatch between expectation and reality. Moving will get us attacked, I explained, my voice low. Even if we somehow bypass this creature, we still have to contend with the guard statues. And I suspect this thing didn't intend for us to escape. Despair threatened to overwhelm us, yet a flicker of stubborn determination ignited within me. I'd finally joined a prestigious guild, and I wasn't about to be taken down here. Then, a sudden movement. A figure, fueled by adrenaline and a desperate hope, bolted towards the exit. What are you doing? Don't move. I yelled, but it was too late. Yeah, I can do this, the figure shouted back, a reckless confidence in his voice. If anything, I'm confident in my speed. I'll be through that door in an instant. The gamble hung in the air, a desperate act of defiance against overwhelming odds. The tension tightened, a taut wire strung across the silent tunnel. Moments stretched into an eternity as we waited, holding our breaths, hearts pounding against our ribs. Then, silence. A chilling silence that spoke volumes. A low growl echoed in the cavern, a sound that sent a fresh wave of icy dread through us. Those things, they could obliterate us whenever they choose, one of the healers whispered, his voice laced with a stark, unyielding terror. It would be easier than crushing a bug. They could wipe us out in an instant. But why haven't they? The question hung unanswered. Even if it could, it doesn't automatically kill, I reasoned. It's different from the attacks we've seen on other hunters. The guard statues attack when you approach the door. The large statue fires projectiles only when you move. There's a pattern, a rule. A sudden whisper, almost lost in the oppressive atmosphere, pierced through my thoughts. The commandments of Kat Hanan. Recognition flooded me. Yes, that's it. Mr. Songale, what was the first commandment? The answer echoed in the cavern. A chilling revelation in the oppressive silence. Worship the Lord. A chilling rule, imposed on this dungeon. A cruel twist in the game of survival. There's a rule in this place, I whispered. My eyes fixed on the still figure of the young man, a question lingering in the air. What are you doing? Are you crazy? I had to know if his rash act was indeed a desperate gamble or something more strategic, something that defied the obvious danger. His gaze, however, held a steady conviction. Those weren't the eyes of someone seeking death. The final piece of the puzzle fell into place. The entities did not attack those who moved, only those who hesitated.